Hello and welcome to this recording for Key Action 1, Mobility Between Programme Countries. Please note that this is a pre-recorded webinar. If you have any questions after watching this video, please contact the Erasmus Plus Higher Education Help Desk, contacts for which are at the end of this presentation. An overview of the programme. Erasmus Plus is the successor to the Lifelong Learning Programme and Higher Education in Action. It will run for 7 years until 2020, and so 2018 will be the 5th year of the programme. As you can see in the diagram, Erasmus Plus is structured around 5 different actions. You have Key Action 1, the mobility of individuals; Key Action 2, cooperation for innovation and the exchange of good practices; Key Action 3, support for policy reform; Jean Monnet, which is about higher education activities around European integration; and finally, sport for activities related to grassroots sport. Activities are split between those managed in each participating country at national agency level and those managed centrally in Brussels. For centralised action managed in Brussels, you apply directly to the European Commission, and the European Commission will manage your project. There is more detail of this type of project on our website and also on European Commission dedicated web pages. For decentralised actions, you would submit an application directly to the national agency of the country in which you were based. So for UK organisations, you would apply to the UK National Agency, and your project can be handled in the UK. So in the UK, the decentralised activities, Key Action 1, 2 and 3, are run by the British Council and Chorus jointly, and they form the UK National Agency. So on screen now are the key actions that you can apply for under higher education. So you have Key Action 1 for mobility of learners and staff, and Key Action 2 for strategic partnerships. For higher education, both of these key actions are managed by the British Council. British Council also manages Key Action 1 for schools and Key Action 2 for youth. However, in this recording, I'm just going to focus on Key Action 1, opportunities for education, which focuses on mobilities between programme countries. So Key Action 1, learning mobility of individuals, is all about providing opportunities for individuals to improve their skills, enhance their employability and gain cultural awareness. Key Action 1 is the largest part of the programme, and in 2017 just over 71% of the UK budget was allocated to this type of project. Roughly €6.5 million was allocated to Key Action 1 projects across the 5 fields of higher education, adult education, schools, vocational education and training, and youth. Under Key Action 1, organisations can apply for funding to run mobility projects. These projects enable organisations to offer structured study, work experience, job shadowing, training and teaching opportunities to staff and students, and the higher education strand of funding focuses on higher education staff and students. For more information about Key Action 1 in the field of higher education, please refer to pages 32 to 48 of the 2018 programme guide, a link to which should be available under the video. So under Key Action 1, the objective or aim is to ensure high quality mobilities with maximum impact. For students, study placement should form part of the student's degree at a short cycle, which is first cycle, which is bachelor or equivalent, second cycle, which is a master's or equivalent, or a third or doctoral cycle. Staff that are employed by a participant in higher education can also participate in staff teaching or training mobilities. The duration of a project under Key Action 1 mobility between programme countries is 16 or 24 months, and the start date for 2018 Key Action 103 mobilities is the 1st of June 2018. On screen in the final bullet point, you can see the project end dates depending on the duration selected in the application form. So on screen now, you can see a list of the countries that can participate in Erasmus Plus mobility between program countries. So the program countries are those that belong to the European Union and also include the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, Iceland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Turkey. If you'd like any more information about the program countries that can participate in Key Action 1 mobility of individuals between program countries, you can find the information listed on page 21 of the 2018 program guide. So, as mentioned before, under Key Action 1 for higher education, for mobility between program countries, there are opportunities for both staff and students at higher education institutions. So students can undertake study mobilities at partner universities from 3 to 12 months in duration. Students can also undertake traineeships at organisations from 2 to 12 months in duration. Recent graduate traineeships are available under this strand of funding. However, students must be selected before they graduate, and the traineeship must be completed within 12 months of the graduation date. Under Erasmus Plus, students can undertake a maximum of 12 months Erasmus Plus mobility per cycle. That a cycle is equivalent to a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a PhD level degree. There are also teaching and training opportunities for staff. Teaching and training mobilities for staff must be from 2 days to 2 months long under this strand of funding. And please note that funding cannot be used to send staff members to attend conferences. Only staff members that hold a contract of employment with the organisation receiving funding can apply for Erasmus Plus staff mobility funding. And please note that the durations on screen do exclude travel days. So for your project, you must have at least one partner higher education organisation in a different program country. When we look at funding, it's important to note there is organisational support funding awarded depending on the number of mobilities that are awarded. And the organisational support grant is a contribution to any cost incurred by the institution in relation to activities in support of student and staff mobility, both inbound and outbound. You can see in that second bullet point that €350 is awarded per participant up to and including the 100th participant. From 101 participants above, the amount of organisational support awarded per participant is €200 for each participant. There is also a budget available called Special Needs Support, and this is to help with the cost of any additional special needs or disability funding that a participant might require. This is available for both staff and students with any special needs requirements that will incur an additional cost. Please note that any applications for special needs support funding are to be submitted separately to your application form for Key Action 1 funding. So for each individual that needs special needs support funding, you as an organisation will need to submit an application to the UK National Agency with supporting information. More information is available on our website. We will then, after we receive the application, assess each application on a case-by-case basis. So now to look at the eligibility criteria for funding. Only higher education institutions that have been awarded the Erasmus Charter for Higher education, or ECHE, can submit an application for funding. If your higher education institution has not been awarded the ECHE, then your application will not be eligible. There will be a call for applications for the ECHE in 2018. The official date for this has not yet been released, but the call historically has been in May. If successful, you will be able to apply for mobility funding in 2019. Please note that the call for applications for the ECHE is managed by the European Commission, and therefore you will need to apply to the European Commission directly for the ECHE accreditation. Consortiums can also apply for Erasmus Plus funding. However, to do so, a consortium must be accredited with the Mobility Consortium Certificate. Unlike the ECHE, you can apply for the Mobility Consortium Certificate at the same time as applying for mobility funding under Key Action 1. Please note, if you are not awarded the Mobility Consortium Certificate, then your application will not be eligible. A link to the Mobility Consortium Certificate application form will be shown in a link underneath the video. Please note that for consortium accreditations that were made in the 2014 or 2015 calls, the accreditation was only valid for 3 consecutive calls, starting from the call year in which you applied for accreditation. Therefore, if you are an organisation that was awarded the consortium accreditation in 2014, you will need to apply for consortium accreditation again under the 2018 call. It is important to note as well that individuals such as students or individual staff members cannot apply for mobility funding through the national agency, and they must apply through their higher education institution for funding. In addition to the eligibility criteria shown on the previous slide, applicant organisations must demonstrate that they have adequate capacity to successfully deliver an Erasmus Plus project and administer them in accordance with the grant agreement with the UK National Agency and the programme guide published by the European Commission. This is agreed when the Declaration of Honour is signed, and that will form part of the application form. Also, please bear in mind that the Erasmus Plus grant is intended to be a contribution to the cost of running an Erasmus Plus project and to the cost of participants. By submitting an application with a Declaration of Honour attached, you also agree that your organisation has the capacity to manage the Erasmus Plus grant. So as a reminder for the deadline for Key Action 1 funding, for Key Action 1 for higher education, there is only one application round. The deadline for this application round is the 1st of February 2018 at 11 AM UK time. If you refer to the programme guide, you'll see that the time there is shown as 12 o'clock. That is Brussels time, where the European Commission is based, or a Central European time. But just bear in mind, if you are thinking about submitting an application form, that the deadline is 11 AM UK time on the 1st of February 2018. So that was just a quick introduction to the Key Action 1 Mobility Between Programme Countries call for 2018 for higher education institutions. If you do have any questions or would like any support with your application form, please do contact the UK National Agency. We have a dedicated higher education help desk, and the contact details for this are shown on screen. The help desk is open from 10 AM to 4 PM, Monday to Friday, and you can contact us by telephone or by email. The contact details, as I say, are shown on screen. So all that's left for me to do is wish you best of luck with your application form, and please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions at all.